Uh,
My name is Brandon Peachin, the host of Sideline Sessions and the owner of Mountain Lacrosse Network. I want to thank everybody who's been watching our shows. I've really enjoyed them. It's been incredibly fun for me to share these conversations with everybody about a bunch of great people that I've always wanted to talk to. This next episode, episode 11, is no different. We have a new upcoming coach, Coach Daniel Bourne, also known as Dukes, who is the newest head coach for Kuna Lacrosse. Thanks for watching. Let your friends know, hit that like, subscribe button, and enjoy the episode. Coach Dukes, welcome to Sideline Sessions. I'm excited to have you on episode 11. Full name, most folks don't know because you just go by Dukes. Daniel Boren is your full name, and you're now the head coach of Kuna Lacrosse. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to go through a few things. First of all, I've been lucky to get to know you over the last summer
Yeah.
and also last spring with the Boise State team when we filmed their games and we got to hang out a lot. And then we spent, I don't know, 16 hours together in a van
Yeah.
over in Colorado having a good time. And I really appreciated that time getting to know you and talk to you and learn more about you. And I think there's a lot of stuff that maybe people just don't know and some pretty interesting things about you. So I'm excited to share that. I want to get into so you began coaching in 2018 here in the Valley after you got out of the Army. Tell me a little bit about this Army experience.
Um, Loved my time in the Army. I graduated high school in 2018.
Mhm.
Joined the Army almost right away. I joined as an infantryman.
Yeah,
For people that don't really know what that is, you're basically the first boots on the ground.
sure.
It's not anything like my kids I coach always talk about Call of Duty, and it's not like that at all. Those are the cool guys.
Yeah.
Um, I joined the Army, speak like with the full idea of like, oh, I'm going to deploy somewhere,
Mhm.
to do something, and I ended up in a unit where I actually just taught people.
Okay.
So I feel like that kind of put me on a path to coach.
Yep.
My unit did everything from basic leadership courses, all the way to um, basically helping lieutenants and captains become better leaders in the army,
Yeah.
and just multitudes of things, just like Bradley leadership course and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
So being a part of that was awesome.
Yeah. I specifically find interesting the hand-to-hand combat school that you got selected for. That I don't think a lot of people realize that Mr. Dukes has some concealed weapons there.
Uh, Again, not a cool guy. My unit ran the fight house on Fort Benning.
Okay.
So basically that's like the MMA gym on base.
Hmm.
Through that, I grew up wrestling.
Okay.
So through that, I kind of got back into wrestling.
Hmm.
And then was able to compete in boxing and jujitsu. And just fell in love with it.
Yeah. And he also belonged to a boxing club down in the Atlanta area.
I did. So I belonged to Championship Boxing.
Hmm.
It was actually based on Fort Benning. And so that's who I trained with. And then I trained with Gracie Barra Jiu Jitsu out in Columbus, which is right where Fort Benning is at.
Hmm.
Now they're Rubicon Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
Still love all the guys there. I know they always ask me about when I'm coming back to go train.
Okay.
Maybe one day
Yeah.
when I have a little bit more free time, I can
Sure.
go out there for a weekend. But
So, yeah. So be careful. This guy is very, very nice, but there is a limit to
I
how
wouldn't
much
say
this
that.
man would take. So, uh, it's incredible background there that I don't think a lot of folks know. So I'm excited to
Yeah,
tell you.
I may talk a lot, but I don't feel like I talk a lot about myself.
Yeah, that's fair. And then, so in the spring of 2022, your first is your first year as head coach. Is that right? No, 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 no.
No,
You
I
moved to
was,
Treasure Valley
yeah,
in the spring of 2022, right? And then now you're the head coach of CUNA. Sorry. And then you've also been the team manager for the Boise State team for the last 2 seasons.
2 seasons. Well, coming up on my second season.
Okay. And then something new
new. I haven't quite talked about it with a lot of people yet, but
Okay.
excited to announce it.
All right. Let's hear it.
I will be working with Team
Mhm.
Spain.
Okay.
I'll be coaching their U20 and heritage teams.
Okay.
Not as like an official role, more as just a volunteer coach.
Yeah.
But I think one that's an exciting opportunity just in general. I don't
Yeah.
know too many people that can say they can work with an international team
Hmm.
in national level squads. I think that's cool. But then two, in a way, I think that's kind of putting Idaho on a map
Yeah.
that, now we're getting a little bit more notice on that. And I'm
Mhm.
hopefully that'll translate to the players getting noticed
Yeah.
and having that continue to grow.
I can see how excited you are on your face about that. I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
I think it's going to be super cool.
I think it will be awesome as well. And so tell me a little more about that, and then we'll get into CUNA. But so where will you be based? How does this work uh, logistically?
So they will do only U.S. trainings
Okay.
for the U20 and heritage teams.
Hmm.
I don't quite have all the details yet. I will once like the first of the year kind of happens.
Okay.
But as of now, it's mostly going to be like Maryland or Florida.
Mhm.
Kind of the hotbeds on the East Coast,
Sure.
probably where the trainings will take place.
Okay. We're trying to get some reps over there and whatnot. I
Yeah,
would
and
guess.
then yeah, they'll as it's volunteer, so I won't be getting paid for it,
No.
but like they'll help me get my way out there
Yeah,
to coach.
that's great.
Um, the vice president is actually who I did my interview with for the club. And she was just like, the only thing I feel like you're lacking is international experience.
Awesome.
And she's like, and you'll get that.
Mhm.
So she's like, we definitely want to bring you on. I feel like you're a good coach. And I was like, well, again, thank you. I hope I am, and so I'm just excited to be
You're
out
gonna
there
get better for sure.
and exciting just to build that and then hopefully have that translate more down the road.
Yeah,
So,
this is awesome. Thanks for breaking news on this.
of
So
course,
yeah, okay. And then in your free time, you play for the Boise Bighorns.
I do.
Yeah, box team. They're doing um, winter reps right now, so that's exciting. We'll have some more Bighorn guys on soon to talk about that. Um, but that's been awesome. That's going on.
Yeah, I love the team, love my teammates.
Yeah. And then on top of all that, you're currently a student at Boise State,
I am currently a student at Boise
full
State,
time.
full-time student. I think that's
Yeah.
very important to say.
Yeah.
Um, when I'm not coaching or
Sure.
doing the cool guy stuff, people think I am. I'm in school,
Sure.
currently working on my bachelor's degree in history,
Awesome. Yes.
and then my certificate in sport coaching.
Okay.
The plan is I want to get my master's in athletic leadership and in history,
Hmm.
and eventually coach and teach at the university level one day.
That'd be great, man. I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah, of
Okay. So let's talk CUNA lacrosse.
course.
And I'm excited to talk about this because I've been around here long enough to kind of see CUNA grow into this, what it is today, and the fight that they've put in to earn some respect and the work that the parents and the previous coaches have put in to build it to what it is today. And I'm excited to hear where we're at now and what's coming up. So tell me about how it's been for you coming in as the head coach.
I would be lying if I said I didn't love it.
Okay.
Um, every, absolutely awesome. Kind of has that like underdog mentality.
Yep.
That is, I kind of have the same kind of mentality. I feel like,
Mhm.
just based off the way I kind of grown up. For a lot of people that don't know, I actually grew up in and out of foster care
Yeah.
for majority of my life, and didn't start playing lacrosse till I was 15. And then from there, kind of just stuck with it and try to get as good as I can.
Yeah.
And CUNA, has that same fight of, yeah, we're a small area, we're a small school, but like we're gonna give it to you,
I agree.
and it's that kind of chip on your shoulder,
Mhm.
not necessarily out of like anger or anything, but more out of like we just want it.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to be in that environment that one already kind of has that idea, and then two also endorses it.
Yeah. I agree. And you can see it when the kids play. And and it's just a hard working group of it's just a hard working community.
Yeah,
Everyone participates. The kids play their asses off day in and day out. The coaches are giving everything they have, and yes, and I'm very excited to see this next season with you and the coaches that you have. But it just feel like it's going to break soon. Like something is going to come out of CUNA. It's going to be exciting. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm very excited, and I think the sky's the limit with those guys.
So what drew you to CUNA Lacrosse? I think we talked about it a little bit, but what else? What else about it? Was there an opportunity something? I mean, you now know those things about CUNA,
Yeah.
right? Being there, but in the beginning, what was like? Absolutely, I can go do CUNA.
I think it was kind of more or less on just the opportunity.
Okay.
I left Meridian,
Hmm.
kind of right before playoffs. I had some family stuff I had to deal with, stuff. Still love those guys. They know that, and
Hmm.
we coached together for City Side.
Yeah.
But the kind of opportunity came, and I met with the board at CUNA,
Yeah.
and they were like, "This is some things that we kind of want to do.
Hmm.
We're kind of tired of being on the back burner, if you will, when it comes to Idaho lacrosse, and we feel like we can make the next step, and you're the guy to do it." And I was like, "Well, I hope that's the case because
We know it will be.
I'm going to do it." So that was kind of the mentality that I
Hmm.
had was, I didn't necessarily choose the job chose me, and I happened to get, a great opportunity at the right time, and so I'm just going to do everything that I can for that.
That's great, man. I love it. Sometimes you just got to do what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And as your story tells, it's you're not afraid of any of that. So
Now, adversity and perseverance will always be there.
yeah.
It's just a matter of when and where you're
Hmm.
going to be willing to meet it.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about CUNA. Tell me about the program. Tell me about the board and your coaches that you're coaching with.
Um, really like our board.
Mhm.
Again, this is my first time as a head coach, so I'm still trying to learn
Sure.
what I can and can't do,
Hmm. Don't be afraid to push.
yeah. But more or less just kind of like the behind the scenes,
Mhm.
right? I know I can coach, right? But now it's more about what can we build outside of coaching.
Yeah.
So I'm glad the board has given me that opportunity to kind of look into that,
Mhm.
and also help. And then I might be biased, but I think we have arguably some of the best coaches, that, in our region.
Yeah. Let's shout them out.
Dylan Self is the remaining OC,
Hmm.
great friend of mine. Logan Danifeld is a All-American out of Timberline. He'll
Yeah.
be coming on as the DC.
Awesome.
Jax Bowen, another All-American out of Washington,
Mhm.
will be the JV head coach and also an assistant coach up on varsity.
Okay.
Jax is awesome what he does, and I was very excited to see how JV does with that. Eddie May,
Mhm.
a Bighorns player.
Yeah.
You and I both know him really well. Great guy. He will
Super great
be
guy.
the JV DC.
Awesome.
He was also a really good player out of the state of Utah.
Mhm.
And then for JV, Andrew Myers will be the OC. And his family is actually the one that introduced me to the sport of lacrosse. So now that we've come kind of full circle and I've been able to put him on staff.
Yeah.
And then Declan Humble, another bighorn,
Mhm.
will be the middle school DC. So a couple
Nice.
bighorns.
Hmm.
But again, great group of guys, and you could tell they really care about the guys that we have.
Hmm.
And that was what was more important to me. Anyone could talk about X's and O's,
Yeah.
but at CUNA, we're more about developing great players. We're trying to develop better young men. And this group that we have, you can really see that.
It's awesome. I love it. I love everything about it. Getting chills just thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie. I got goosebumps because I it's just the creating standards and the culture that goes with it. And a few people have talked about it, but the belief in each other, man, once that all locks in, it's insane what can come of it. And it sounds like with a great group of coaching staff you got, parents that want to succeed. I mean, the sky's the limit here, bud.
Yeah, the parents have been awesome,
Yeah.
especially with like newer families,
Hmm.
or their kids are freshman, sophomore. or eighth grade, they have really I've been um, very grateful for them. They've been asking me a lot of questions, not necessarily just lacrosse related, but
Hmm.
just trying to get to know me and kind of how I can, help their athlete with whatever is going on. And gotten to know them through the off season leading into spring
Yeah.
has been awesome with
Hmm.
all the parents, and I'm just grateful for that buy-in.
That's great. Let's talk about the pillars of what your players uh, to live by on and off the field.
Um, I kind of have this phrase I tell the guys.
Hmm.
I feel like as coaches, we all kind of steal stuff from other
Why
coaches
wouldn't
and stuff. So I, kind of put on my Nick Saban hat, if you will,
you? Hmm.
and I say, do your job.
Yep.
And do your job to me is not necessarily about.
1 second. We got a technical difficulty here. Pause with this, sir. I got you, buddy. Oh, I got to put it up in there. Okay. I think we're back in business.
Okay,
This is what happens. There's a low budget here, buddy. So low budget.
hey, it's working.
Yeah. Okay. So Nick Saban stealing. Back to it.
So I, kind of put on my Nick Saban hat, and I
Hmm.
always tell the guys, do your job.
Right.
And what does that mean to me?
Mhm.
Right? Do your job is, for one, are you in the right place at the right time in the right uniform with the right attitude?
Mhm.
And the attitude part's huge. I think the attitude comes into the part of accountability and ownership. It's easy to go through practice doing whatever, but are you taking the initiative to focus on each rep on trying to get better? Are you taking the time to make sure that your teammates are also doing that? Um, if we do our job, or if you do your job, the team can do its job. So ownership, accountability, um, effort, attitude is all part of that. Another
Yeah.
part that I don't think it's talked about enough is actually vulnerability.
Hmm. Love it.
It's okay to make mistakes. And I think when, we say that as coaches, people are like, oh, who is he talking about?
Mhm.
Right? Mistakes are going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know anyone who can't say they've never ran into a mistake at work or at school or coaching or playing a sport.
Yeah.
So something we've done at practice is, again, mistakes are going to happen.
Mhm.
One, we just got to own up to it. There's no point in trying to deny that the mistake didn't happen. We take count of it. We think of what we need to work on, and then we go out there and improve it on it. For me, it's quality over quantity.
Hmm.
I'd rather make sure you're getting the rep right than just doing it a
Hmm.
hundred times wrong.
Yeah.
Um, and then in games, obviously you can't sit there and try to correct the mistake on the fly.
Right.
So I kind of tell the kids be a goldfish.
Hmm.
And what that means is have a 10-second memory and just focus on the next play.
Yep. Nothing we can do about it now.
If I, you got to be where your feet are when you're playing. And if I focus on missing my assignment or whatever, then I'm guaranteed to mix the net.
This is some goalie logic here.
That might be a goalie logic, but, um, just be where your feet are.
Sure.
I find more patience and kind of peace in knowing I'm where my feet are
Mhm.
than worrying about what I'm doing 10 minutes from
Yeah.
now, right?
Hmm.
And in lacrosse, that's very important because that's what dictates games
Yeah.
is the teams that are able to kind of forgive and forget their mistakes and just try to get better on the very next rep are more than likely going to win,
Yeah.
in my opinion, than the teams that kind of implode on the mistake.
Yeah. I agree. You can listen. People are going to score on you, right? And
Exactly.
and you're going to miss shots, and you're going to be out of position, and uh, and you're going to screw up at work. Absolutely. Everything you say, like I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to have the wrong attitude at the time. And yeah, how you grow from those things is what really makes you a better person
Yeah.
and player, and how you react to your teammate during those times, right?
Yeah. So on top of that, we have two phrases I also kind
Hmm.
of say. Um, as people know, I love my little catchphrases.
Okay.
but how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Mhm.
So if you're willing to take the effort, time, whatever to improve on your game, then I can trust that you're also doing it at school. You can also trust that, you're doing these things on and off the field. And then another one that I've kind of picked up on recently is E plus R equals O.
Okay.
And what that means is the event plus the response equals the outcome. So, like you said earlier, like it's inevitable that we're going to get scored on.
Yep.
But I can either respond to it one of two ways. I could be negative about it
Hmm.
and just let it consume what's going on, or I can just respond with the right attitude,
Yeah.
and that will determine the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know too many people that have negative mindsets that win games, you
Yeah.
know?
Not consistently.
Yeah, not consistently, might happen once,
Yeah.
but I don't believe in once, I believe in all the time.
Hmm. Awesome. I love it. Uh, this conversation is exactly what I needed this week. So, yeah,
Glad to hear that.
yeah. I mean, like it doesn't like 40. How old am I? 47 now, and I still have rough days. I still react. Uh, I
Don't we
could
all?
always do better. And this week I'm floundering this week. And this is exactly the conversation that I needed to feel better, recharge my battery, as they say. So,
Well, I'm glad I
yeah,
was able to help in some way.
no, absolutely. And I'm excited. So, as a 47-year-old, I know this is important. And absolutely, this is valuable for those young men that you're influencing too. So, I appreciate you sharing all this.
Of course.
Yeah. Um, every program has hurdles, biggest challenges for CUNA right now. And with some strategy we got behind them. And then what else? And on top of that, what can people help with?
Right now, our biggest problem going is that we're still growing.
Okay.
That's not a bad problem to have at all,
Hmm.
right? But with growing, obviously, comes some growing pains. CUNA's been a club since 2018. So with that, Coach Dillon's done a great job at starting with a few players and helping it become what it is right now.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping with all of us, will help get to the next chapter.
Yep.
So just growth is part of that. CUNA's the fastest kind of growing part in the valley.
Mhm.
So that comes with opportunity if and how we approach it. I think we need to expose families to the sport a lot earlier on.
Hmm.
And then from there, just making sure they have a positive experience with it.
Yeah.
Um, and then funding.
Okay.
I feel like that's a problem with everyone.
Yep.
But that's kind of what's been our biggest hurdle is how can we get gear for newer players
Mhm.
and how can we make things happen for this team that hasn't happened really in the past. And I feel like as a team, we've done a pretty good job with our footwork in the community. The boys just got done with Rake Up CUNA and other activities within the community.
Mhm.
And we're having a lot more buy-in from the community itself.
Okay.
So I would say those two things are probably the biggest hurdles.
Yeah.
But
And I know on top of that, so you're aligning your middle school program with your high school program,
yeah,
same field, practicing, right? And then I know you're a huge advocate for getting the girls and women's going too, not
I
only
am.
at
Yeah,
CUNA but in the valley.
yeah. Um, I feel like a com- as a community, we've been, for lack of better words, kind of negligent
Hmm.
when it has come to growing and supporting the women's side of the game.
I would
Um,
agree.
and I think the only way the boys' side of the game can grow is if we share and show equal support in
Mhm.
growing the women's side of the game. And I think once we do that, not only will Idaho lacrosse grow exponentially for both men's and women's, boys and girls,
Hmm.
but I think Idaho could very well be the next hotbed here in the West.
I
We have
I love it.
great athletes,
Yeah.
um, even greater lacrosse athletes, and even greater people.
Hmm.
We just need to find a way to where we're all on the same page
Yeah.
and not focusing on one or the other.
Right. I agree. Yeah. I love it. That's why I brought it up because I know you're a big fan and
Yeah,
I
I that's another
100%
side
support
people don't know because
it. Yeah.
again, I coach men's lacrosse or boys lacrosse.
Right.
I don't know anything when it comes to girls lacrosse, but um, I will always be the first supporter in saying that
Yeah.
we need to support it more.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it. And that rolls right into growth of Idaho lacrosse, or kind of next couple questions here. From your perspective, what does Idaho need to keep pushing to move the game forward for both the boys and girls? I think I should have read my question before while you were talking. But not only that, but yeah, I guess there's some other things. I guess let's talk about some other things because we just talked about boys and girls, but we can also talk about more on that if you like. But in as a whole, what else can we do? What are we missing, in your opinion, that we should all unite around on top of that?
It's always I feel like it's always a matter of like what's going wrong
Hmm.
and never about what's going right.
Okay, I love this.
And I think what we're doing right is there's obviously success with both IHSLL
Mhm.
and SWILA,
Yep.
and with women's now being sanctioned,
Mhm.
obviously that has helped us. Um, so that part we just need to continue to grow on that side of part too,
Yeah.
and just support that image. And I think we're going to do that. But outside of that, I think we need to have more opportunities for players in Idaho or just the surrounding area.
Okay.
Um,
Explain to me.
like, for example, I coach Cityside, and
Hmm.
we don't have an Idaho tournament that we can go to.
Okay.
All of our tournaments are out of state.
Yep.
And I know True's in the same boat,
Hmm.
and I'm sure there's other clubs up north that are also in the same boat.
Yeah.
And I think if someone or a group of someones is able to create some sort of tournament that's open to club and
Hmm.
not like necessarily just high school, that's also open for boys and girls lacrosse. I think that also kind of will help Idaho lacrosse grow as it creates more opportunities for those players to play. It's tough traveling every other weekend.
Hmm.
So sometimes it might be nice to, play in your own backyard,
Yeah.
and have someone kind of come to you for once,
Yeah. No, I agree.
you
Like
know?
we would go to that one in Sisters,
Yeah,
and those local schools there, like what was it, the other Outlaws back then? The high school kind of club team, they were refreshed and wonderful showing
yeah,
up, right? It was their house and play with extra energy. So it would be, I, Dukes, I 100% agree that it seems bonkers that we're not having it here. I know there's a gals one that takes place down at Ann Morrison in the summers.
yeah. See, this is the first time I've
Yeah.
heard
And
about it.
I think it's still happening.
So that's also kind of a sign that
Right.
we need to do a better job at
We need
endorsing
to
that.
do a better job of that. I know because my niece played in it at one point.
Okay.
So, but there's no reason why we can't have a boys one that's club based as well. So,
Yeah, I would love
or
to
have
see
them both
both.
together.
And I think that's how the best programs do that.
Yeah.
We were just in Temecula,
Hmm.
and the tournament we were out there did a boys and girls brackets, and I feel like it was awesome.
Yep.
They did a really good job at running that club, or excuse me, that tournament.
Okay.
And honestly, with how much Idaho is involved with each other
Hmm.
in all aspects within the community, not just CUNA being involved in itself, but
Yeah.
all of Idaho, I feel like we're fairly connected
Hmm.
in that, and I feel like there should be no reason why we're not building
Yeah.
tournament, twice a year would be perfect. One in the spring and or summer,
Yeah.
and then one in the winter time would be
Hmm.
perfect, because that aligns with how our clubs here are working. And I think with that, again, like that it helps with the growth.
Yeah. I,
Where,
I would love to see it as hosted by a governing body that would help raise funds to lower dues or something like that. Say
yeah,
it was Swila or whoever, something to where that portion of that funding would go to take off some pressure.
yeah, I know me and a couple other coaches have also kind of brought this up
Hmm.
and talked about it.
Okay.
And so who knows, maybe it'll be a bunch of coaches that are kind of, tired that there's not something, and maybe we'll all come around and
There you
hit it.
go.
But again, as long as there's something there,
Yeah.
then it helps.
We'll get the refs to do it. It's the
Yeah.
Idaho Officials League.
Well, and I'm sure they would love to. That's the
Absolutely.
thing is I don't think there's anyone that wouldn't want to help.
I don't. I
We just need one person, I think, or a group of people that's willing to go, this is what we're doing. and then everyone else just going, okay,
Yeah. Okay. We can maybe we'll work on that.
yeah, maybe that's the next thing I'm adding to the
Okay.
bucket list of
Yeah.
things I'm doing.
Yeah. Just on top of the five other things that you kick your butt
Yeah,
at. Um, Let me ask you this: the parents, how great, how much do the parents impact the overall uh, outcomes of the youth and the players? Like, how important is it for them to be involved, make or break, not only obviously paying, but showing up, right? Helping out, set the cones up, painting the
I think it's
fields.
very important
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, too, we also want the same thing for their athlete.
Yeah.
It's we're not two separate teams.
Hmm.
You know, it's not the parents versus the coaches
Right.
or the parents versus the board or whatever. We're we're at the end of the day, we're wanting their player to grow and not just be a great player.
Yeah.
That's my goal for everyone is, hopefully they all play in college one day,
Sure.
right? In reality, I know that's not always going to be the case,
Hmm.
but at least if I could see them become better people, then
Yeah.
I know I did my job right.
Yeah. And on top of it, like, it's as a parent, it creates opportunity to spend time with your kid in a
Yeah.
different way, right? Like, and support them in things that they're doing. And it doesn't always have to be money, right? You can show up, help set up a field, the cones out, or whatever, right? Like, hey, what do we need? Well, we need someone to go get forks and paper plates for team meals,
Yeah.
you
And,
know, or just
we're
helps serve the food. Also, is a significant help.
anything that parents do is always appreciated, or at
Yeah,
least by me, it's always appreciated. Maybe I have to tell their kids to go say thank you,
sure.
but
That's
I think
mental
that's
efforts.
just, yeah, I was like, I think that's just part of growing. Um, but yeah, and I think like we're all kind of in it together. And I think that's what builds that community is, it's not only like a team first idea, but now like we're building a community and we're building a brand that people want to invest in and be a part of.
Yeah,
And I think all those things come together.
I agree. I think listen, Dukes, you're killing it, man.
I hope I'm
I
saying all the right things.
you're
No, I'm just
saying
kidding.
I think you're it's funny is that I know you're not just saying the right things, like you actually mean it.
Yeah.
So uh yeah, I'm just sitting here having a great time listening to you talk because I know you believe in this and
Yeah.
I know you absolutely care about these young men and the gals in this community and want to truly make a difference. And I'm not saying anybody else isn't, but I know this is something that you deeply care about,
Yeah, I
and
was
it's
gonna say we've
exciting.
had many conversations about this.
Yep.
But
And I'm an irrational, passionate man, and I
yeah,
do care the same way. I'm just a little more old and crotchety about it, I think. But you're doing such a great job. You're wise beyond your years as far as how you're carrying yourself here, and
thank
it's
you.
just
Appreciate it.
it's great, man. It's awesome. You're doing such a great job. I think Kuna did an excellent job picking you out. I know they don't need my approval, but yeah, I think given the right time and the proper backing, we're looking at a significant coach here to making here in the Valley.
I hope and I appreciate that. I think I always joke about I always tell the kids one day that they'll be in the PLL before I ever will coach college.
Yeah,
And I said, when you get to that point, don't forget the little people that helped
that's
you
right.
get there.
Send coach a coffee gift card or something at some point.
Yeah. But honestly, at the end of the day, again, as long as we're helping these players, men's and women's, boys and girls, I mean, as all coaches, not just being like the great
Yeah,
players that they can be, but even better young people,
yeah,
young men, young women, future adults, I think, then that's the success of Idaho lacrosse.
right.
And that's what Kuna lacrosse will be known for.
Let's. I love it. Let's talk about getting new players in.
Okay.
And this sport, I remember we rented a packet or a gear bag from Lax ID back in the day. It was like a try and play with some pads in there. Basically, buy a helmet, buy a stick. I think the original stick might be here still. Um, if not the first one, the second one. But I know it's a big lift to get into this game, and very few people pick it up and they're good. Like
Yeah,
it's something you gotta want to get good at, and you're gonna stink, right? Some folks like there's just those people out there that are just good at everything, and we all love to hate those people. But for most of us, we got to get the reps in, right?
yeah,
So bringing in those new folks, for one, the financial barrier, two, like just encouragement to get through that
yeah.
terrible portion, right? So talk about how maybe you
So
helped out with some new players, especially in a growing area like you.
I would say on the financial aspect, we're doing a good job at trying to help that. I've been going out of my way to try to get new gear.
Mhm.
So I've kind of been a Facebook market hound,
Yeah,
trying to get as much gear as I can for people.
sure.
I've even gone on my way to go buy some new gear,
Hmm.
new used gear.
Yeah,
I full-time college student here. I
yeah.
can't afford
Hmm.
a bunch of new stuff. Um, and we've worked up that thing with the Lax ID to try to also get that going
Yep.
for these new players. Obviously, the helmets are going to be the biggest issue,
Yeah.
but and the new chest pads.
Hmm.
But everything else, sticks and everything else, like we've gotten really good at
Yeah.
creating and getting more of.
Hmm.
So in that side of the aspect, I think we're doing okay. Obviously, it would help having some, sponsorships or something to help
Sure.
with that.
Hmm.
And I think we're building that. Um, when it comes to new players, it's kind of about that conversation I had with you earlier about vulnerability.
Hmm.
Um, I think when we approach new players, we need to give them grace, obviously.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be great off the rip, and that's okay. And with that comes structure. Um, if you would have asked me, 5 years ago, what I would have said, I would have been like, oh, well, they just need to kind of just pick it up,
Yeah.
right? And some of that is true, you know,
Hmm.
but if we don't allow them to grow and make mistakes, one, they're not going to stick with it.
Yep.
And if they're not going to stick with it, then there goes the growth that you're building.
Mhm.
And then the structure part of it helps, right? I feel like we did a good job this fall. Us and the staff, we had a couple of new guys, and we built realistic standards and structure that they could follow.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like they were holding anyone down. I know as a new player, I felt that way. That, if I couldn't do whatever, I
Right.
was letting the team down or
Yeah.
I was slowing us down.
Right. Or it's embarrassing or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like
so I
whatever
feel
you
like we
might
did a
feel.
good job at one, preventing that and making them feel like not only are you a part of this team,
Yeah.
but you're a huge part of it. Like every kid is. It's not like 1% of each guy makes up the 100%.
Yeah.
Everyone's the 100% that makes it up. Um, and so I feel like that's kind of the big piece is allowing that room to grow, and then also just letting them make mistakes. I don't really care if it's a game or practice,
Mhm.
right? As long as you're going out there and you're giving 110% effort and you're doing the small things that we ask you, right? Holding yourself accountable,
Mhm.
showing up at the right place, right time, right uniform, everything else will count,
Yeah.
right? I don't know anyone who, right, doesn't care about the details that also gets better at what they're doing,
Yeah.
right? If you genuinely care about what you're doing, you're going to find a way to do that. And again, it might not be skills.
Yeah.
Hey, that's kind of why I got into coaching. I wasn't a great player. I didn't play up to the vision I wanted or had for myself,
Mhm.
so I became the coach to help others find theirs
Yeah.
and help them play to their vision that they had for themselves.
Absolutely love it. So I want to talk a little bit about this fall, and then I want to talk short term, long term, this next coming spring with you. But rumor has it, Kuna boys young this fall, uh, kick some butt. And
They killed it.
okay.
I know our record
Uh-huh.
doesn't show that. We went 2-4 this fall season. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know I have to throw that out there because some people are gonna be like, well, it can't be you didn't kick that much butt, if you didn't win that many, but um our fall team was really young.
Mm-hmm.
We did have two juniors which came out and helped that provided that kind of leadership
Yep.
to upperclassmen. I'm super grateful for those two that did show up. But the rest of our team was freshmen, sophomores, and an eighth grader. We had 14 boys.
Okay.
But super impressed with how much they grew from day one. And again, me being the new guy, they're the new guy,
Yeah.
right? And trying to find that mix to how we ended fall,
Mhm.
and then also how they went into their club teams this fall winter,
Yeah.
and the success they had with their fall teams
Okay.
was awesome to see. And I think the sky's the limit for those guys. Not again, not only as players, but like just as people.
Yeah.
Like we have a really good locker room, and I'm excited for that to not only continue to build, but hopefully impact more people.
Yeah.
And I think the more people we impact, again, it kind of comes into like that brand we're building,
Yeah.
right? Because at CUNA, I'll say it, we're tough,
Yeah.
right? I am demanding as a coach, and I know that.
Okay.
And I'm demanding because life's demanding. And it's about how you respond to it. Because again, like we said earlier, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, and you're going to have days in between,
Hmm.
right? But that doesn't mean the standards change. That doesn't mean what our expectations of us change, right? If I'm having a bad day, I'm still expected to go to school.
Hmm.
I'm still expected to go out and coach
Yeah.
110%, right? And the players do that. And not only did they embody that, but seeing them continuously practice at it, ask me questions outside of lacrosse, right? How can I apply these skills
Hmm.
to this math test that I really don't want to do? Or how can I, do this? Or, hey, coach, I have a friend that wants to play but doesn't quite really know.
Hmm.
What's a way I can introduce him to something that's similar to eventually he wants to come out and try?
Yeah.
And seeing them be very proactive in that has been awesome. It's kind of lightened the load on me to try to go out and try to find new players
Sure.
as they're actively going and get their friends or even their older
Yeah.
siblings to come out and play.
I agree.
And that's been awesome.
If you're doing it right, you got your own ambassadors, right?
Yeah.
They want people to enjoy what they're enjoying, and it sounds like you're on the right track. So I'm trying to promise to have people back in the spring to talk about their spring season and individual players. So we'll hold that for now.
Okay.
But uh, tell you the truth, this is what I'm going to put it out there. This is what I'm trying to do preseason is have a Swyla Media Day where we have every team in Swyla meet at one location. I'm hoping Lax ID comes through for me. I need to hit him back up.
I can try to talk to
And
Josh.
and then each team gets 20 minutes. Head coach and maybe a player or two. Talk about the upcoming season. So I'm trying to do all in one shot versus I don't think I'll get everybody back individually.
Yeah.
Uh, but in doing so, let's talk about goals for this spring season. Working from winter workouts into spring, maybe. I don't know if you're doing winter workouts. And then kind of like setting yourself up, maybe some milestones, if you care to share. Maybe there's some secret ones you don't want to talk
I
about, but
am gonna kind of put a target on my back.
okay, let's do it.
But one that was very notable when I first got hired was winning state.
Okay,
That was something I've been told from players, parents, random people was if we don't win state, it was all for nothing.
interesting.
And I know that's kind of a wild take,
Hmm.
but I like the pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure builds diamonds, and at CUNA, I believe we're a diamond in the rough.
Okay.
Um,
You and I have talked. I've said on our text messages if Kuna wins, I'll buy the team pizza. Like that, you know
that
what I mean? Like that. I've
that
been a
has
secret
happened,
admirer here for Kuna for a while. So
but so that was very like that has been said day one, and the older boys are really like the front runners on that. Like that is their expectation,
yeah,
which is awesome to see. I don't know any team who doesn't have that goal, but actively seeing them push for that has been awesome. Some long-term goals I have for CUNA is for my time at CUNA, for however long I'm at CUNA,
hmm,
is one, we will be known for having great players and even greater young men,
yeah,
right? My goal is for all of them to go play in college, but even if they don't do that, seeing them be very proactive in their community, helping continue to grow the sport,
yeah,
leading their lives with a sense of purpose, right?
yep,
then I would say that's a job well done. Two, our constant pursuit of excellence. And I don't mean perfection when I say that. I know perfection and excellence kind of get interchanged when people talk about that. But even if we don't win state, even if we don't do, what I think we will
Mhm.
do and can accomplish, right? It's our constant pursuit of.
Yeah.
I think at CUNA, like we're not ever going to let off the gas pedal. Just because whatever doesn't go our way, that's so well. That's part of the game. That's part of life.
Mhm.
We're going to give 120% regardless of what on pursuing what we consider excellence. And then three, finally, winning.
Yeah.
I'm a winner. Kuna is a winner,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, it's been in the shadows a little bit, but we're gonna make it happen, and Kuna will be known for
I
winning.
think it's great, man. You're lurking back there.
Yeah,
And man, like I said, I can't tell you how excited I am to see this program, one of the newer programs in the state, uh, been picked on, right?
yeah,
Bullied, maybe, uh, dismissed, and here they come, right? Like, yeah, as you know, you only get beat up so many times before you learn how to fight.
yeah.
And
That's another thing I kind of tell the guys is, sometimes they're gonna get hit in the mouth, and you can do one or two things. You can allow it or
yeah,
fight back, and we're fighting back.
good. I love this. I love every aspect of it. We're going to get into a little bit of fun stuff, but this is what I'm going to do. I am to help out with some of that barrier. I'm going to sponsor one lacrosse player this year. Mountain Lacrosse will. So I'll send you some money for that.
That's awesome. Thank you for
Yep.
that.
And then what I want to get into is some extra fun stuff, silliness,
Understood.
as we always do, because I love these hard conversations and about coaching X and O's, but also just like the people here too, right?
Yeah,
So, and there's if you don't stop and do something goofy once in a while,
yeah. I was
you're
gonna
going to lose
say.
your mind.
I
So,
think the guys on the Bighorns know I'm kind of a goofball, but I try
sure.
not to show that with the kids I'm
Okay. Well,
coaching.
we'll minimize how goofy you are.
So
That's
this
okay.
will all good.
All right.
Again, we're being real here.
So I guess the first of all, favorite lacrosse memory so far.
This is an easy one.
Okay.
My favorite lacrosse memory was being with the Boise State team when we won the PNCLL this last spring
That's
on their
great.
trip to nationals.
Hmm.
I think that's the standard now for that team.
Yep.
And that's something I want to have at CUNA is like that standard of winning.
Mhm.
And I think another one too is like being at CUNA. Obviously, it's still new.
Yeah.
It's still very brand new, but I think there's going to be a lot of future favorite memories coming out of there.
I agree, man. I love that you're saying that. Like it's future favorite memories are being created
Yeah.
today. So, uh, game day ritual, superstitions.
I don't know if I have any game day rituals.
Okay.
I do. I will dap up the boys during our warm ups,
Hmm.
and kind of tell them to have a day.
Yeah.
It's something I picked up at Boise State and do at Boise State, and
Hmm.
it's kind of carried down to CUNA and even with my
Yeah.
city side kiddos.
Yeah.
Something that was newer this fall is, for those that know, I love soul music.
Yep.
So before our games, I started playing, my soul music that I like,
Hmm.
and "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" kind of became our
That's a
team,
that's a good one.
team warm up, our team pump
Hmm.
up song. That kind of became it. So hopefully that sticks in the spring,
I think it will.
but that would be kind of it.
Yeah. Let me in. Let's let them in a little bit. Uh, top two, top three soul music artists. What do you got?
Soul music artists.
Uh-huh.
I really like. Obviously, you can't go wrong with Marvin Gaye and Al Green.
Right. Of course.
I feel like
So we're down to number three then.
now number three. I feel like it depends
Okay.
on the time frame.
Sure. Let's
I
talk.
know MJ's technically pop, but like he's kind of soully. You
Especially
got
back in the
Prince.
Jack. Come on, man. Yes, of course.
Bobby Caldwell.
Mhm.
But out of those three, I would probably go Marvin Gaye, Al Green, and then probably Otis Redding.
Nice.
I don't know if Otis Redding gets enough love.
Okay.
I would throw him up there. That or Ton Function.
Okay.
I would also give them some love.
Yeah. I was just watching Prince guitar solos, like famous guitar solos.
Yeah,
And there was one for George Harrison at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
that would be awesome. I haven't seen that, so
And
now I need to go
it's
watch it.
older, and he just kind of like strolls out onto the stage, and he wasn't really on the set list for this last song, and he comes in and then like waiting his turn, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess Prince is gonna go, and he just lays down like a 4 minute guitar solo, and
Definitely
then
need to watch it then.
at the end he throws a guitar up in the air. I don't know where it goes. It just vanishes. Like
As one does.
like it goes up to the hands of God to take it because no one else is ever going to be able to play it again, like Excalibur of sorts. And then he just like sautés off the stage, and everybody's just like, "What the hell just happened?" So, yeah,
Hopefully, we're giving people that impression of lacrosse. That's my goal.
why not, man? Or the Prince Super Bowl halftime show in the
Yeah,
rain,
that'd be cool.
laying it down. That was probably my second favorite guitar licks from Prince.
Good to
So
know. Good to know.
both of those solid watches on YouTube. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna think one player, past or present, you'd love to either coach or play with.
So I'm going to kind of take a different spin on
Let's
this.
do it.
I think obviously it's easy to say Rabel, Kyle Harrison,
Yep.
Mitch Belisle, the Thompson brothers,
Hmm.
but I'm honestly more excited on coaching the next future of greats or building the next future of greats.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's kind of like more exciting. I know that's cheesy,
I think it's fine.
but another one too, and this is kind of more of a sentimental
So
thing,
who
is
you got here that's now up and coming that you or recent or whatever? When you were thinking about that, who was it?
I don't want to say any names because I know I'm going to get in trouble.
Okay. That's fair.
All of them,
Okay.
all of them. I think all of them have potential,
Okay.
um, and I'm just excited for that.
Yeah.
And I think a sentimental one, as again, this is going to sound cheesy,
No.
would probably be me.
Okay.
They say we become the adults we would have trusted as kids,
Okay.
and so knowing what I know now in terms of coaching,
Yeah.
right? I feel like maybe I would have had a better career,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, I'm glad where I turned out. Obviously, I'm doing something right,
Yeah.
you
You're doing
know,
a lot of things right.
I hope.
I know you are.
But I think the next future grades, that's like my answer to that.
Okay. Yep. I love it. I love all of it. I love how people turn these questions too sometimes. Like if you could play your former team, what it would be, or something like that. I think they're always fun and interesting how people
Yeah.
turn those around. Coach, we're getting close to the end of our time. What else? What else you want to talk about?
Um, Again, I when we talked about this earlier, I'm
Yeah,
open to anything.
yeah.
Um,
Is there something we're missing that you want to cover?
I wouldn't say necessarily we missed anything.
Okay.
One thing I do want people to know
Hmm.
is again, like, yes, all the people have been on the show are coaches,
Hmm.
but
We've had a couple players. We're getting more, but yeah,
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 but we're more like, but other than coaches or players, we're also people.
yep.
And so I think that's kind of one thing I want people to kind of get to take away from this is,
Hmm.
yeah, I give you an insight on me as a coach,
Hmm.
but I'm giving you an insight of me as a person,
Sure.
and hopefully that goes and inspires the next group of people, the next group of coaches, the next group of players to just be themselves.
Yeah.
I didn't get to what I'm doing now by
Hmm.
being what everyone else was. I got to where I'm at by being me.
Yeah.
And I hope that also kind of inspires other people to go, yeah, it's okay to be me and I'm going to be great at it.
I, you summing up exactly why I like to have these conversations because I want to know the people uh, and how they got there and what's going on. These silly things, like these questions about music or whatever, I I go check the songs out. When Gannon was on, he mentioned a couple bands. I went and listened to them. Uh, yeah, there's people here, man, and it's if you're not genuine to yourself, it's going to be an incredibly long road. And these young players know
Yeah.
they know if you're not being true to who you say you are, and or genuine with them, and it doesn't take long for that to wash out, you know.
Yeah.
So no, I appreciate you bringing that up, and man, I'm excited for Kuna Lacrosse. I'm super stoked. So uh, with that, let's end the show. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your
First,
time.
awesome. Thank you so much.